Wow, what is that mess?
I'll tell you, that was a heck of a tune-up, wasn't it?
It was spikes all the way up and down the band.
I don't have that good of a scope. I could just see one big spike there.
No, it was a rainbow all the way down to 1800 up to 2000. It was crazy.
How you doing, Carl? Boy, that's a nice scope you got there.
Well, actually, it's HD SDR. I got it running on the computer with the 7610. Works really good. It's real pretty. WG2E.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Carl. And how you been?
Oh, not too bad. Just finished dinner, was looking at a little something on the TV, and then I heard this noise, and I go, what the heck is going on there? Because I could see on the scope on the radio that it was like that radar you get on 20 meters. It goes all up and down the whole band.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't see that. I just hit my notch felt. I was just finishing up with a 7 o'clock net here, and then, anyway, it looks like we got some rain coming in sometime tonight, I think.
Well, of course. I had the car wash today.
That's perfect. I think I was going to, and I said I just ran out of time. So if I did, for sure we'd get a deluge here.
Yeah, there it is again. It's like every kilohertz. There's a line here on the waterfall display.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what that is. I just thought it was somebody tuning up.
Well, it could be, but it must be like Harmonic City or something. It's like a rainbow.
I was wondering, that's probably a little too early for the band, but we're so close, it doesn't matter for us. You have beautiful signal as always.
Oh yeah, I don't even have the amplifier on yet.
Let me turn mine off and see how I do. Hold on a sec.
Hotel November.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Carl. Somebody's tuner up or on this frequency?
Take a look at it on the scope. It's all up and down. It's got a line every kilohertz all the way up and down the whole band.
I don't have no scope.
Hi, Carl. How do I sound now? Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Hello, Tim. This is Bob, KT2D.
Hi, Bob. You're sounding good.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm on my 3/8 wave semi-vertical and it's more like an inverted J. So I got some balanced line out to it, so I'm just seeing how I'm going to do a comparison when Ray gets in here later.
You're feeding it with a single cap?
Say that again, Tim?
You're feeding them with a single capacitor or a tuner?
No, I have a capacity. I got about 940 picofarads out at the antenna, but then I'm coming in balanced line, and then I'm feeding it with, and then I tune the rest of it out with my BT 1500A, the balanced tuner in the shack.
Okay, you're much stronger than you were on your helical vertical.
Oh, that's good news. Okay, and I'm not running the amp or anything. I'm just barefoot right now, so it'll be interesting to see. It did tune right out, and yeah, I'll be interested to see how it holds up later on.
How tall is it?
Say that again, Tim?
How high is it? How tall is it?
It's about, I got to estimate where it is on the tree. The total wire length is 220 feet, so the highest it is probably 70 feet.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's great. Okay, good luck on that. I think you got a winner there.
I hope so. Thanks to you and Ray. You guys, talking to you the other night, and then the other day on the radio as well, but the other day at the diner. Nice meeting you. Thanks. And if that one didn't work, I was going to do your end. But I hope it does. So we'll keep my fingers crossed here.
Yeah, you got the 4 radios under it?
I have 20. They're about 8th wave ones. This 8 of them that are about a quarter wave, and then the other 12 are about an eighth wave.
Well, you're loaded for bear. You got a great radio system, especially with the 3/8. You don't need so much.
That's what I found out. And everything I read on it, talking to you and Ray, and then when I did some more reading on it. I hope it works out. It'll be nice to have at least a semi-competitive signal in here.
You'll probably beat Ray out in North Carolina.
We'll see. That'll be funny.
Anyway, I've been working on my antenna. Back in the woods again today, Carl, over.
Okay, I hope you're not covered with ticks.
I did get one tick on my groin, and I didn't know it. 2 or 3 days later, it got all infected. I'm pretty much allergic to those suckers. One time I did get Lyme disease.
Hey,
I get tested for that just occasionally. Every few physicals I ask them to look for that. So far, so good. Jesus, the darn black flies got me the other day. I got all these welts that are still itching.
So I got over the past 2 weeks, I had 3 ticks on me. One in the region that Tim just mentioned, and 2 on my legs from my 3 trips into the woods, stringing wire and turning things around. So I'll tell you, they are tenacious, those little guys.
Hey, take a look at me on my receive antenna. I put up a new receive antenna, 400 feet long. This is a loop, this is a loop. This is a receive antenna, receive antenna, receive antenna, receive antenna. Back to the loop, 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 loop. See any difference?
On your loop, you're about, hold on a sec. You're about 20 over on the loop and about S9 or 5 over on the receive antenna here.
Yeah, the receive antenna is 400 feet long and about 7 feet off the ground, over.
20 over on the loop and about S7 on your other one.
Roger, Dodger. Well, it's amazing that it transmits at all. But I do get a good match.
Hey, I'll be back in a sec. I got to go plug in my amplifier here. I share the outlet with Dryer, and it's still on Dryer.
Good man, Carl.
Yeah, you couldn't prove it by me. You're so strong here. Yeah, I was amazed that I don't call it a beverage. You got to have a bad ground. This goes right over the radio system to the Foursquare. There's 2,400 feet of radios under the Foursquare, so it goes right over the radio system and has a good ground underneath it. So it's not a beverage; it's a receiving antenna.
No, that's pretty nice. So how much land do you have total, Tim? Over?
About 9 acres.
Oh wow, that is nice. Yeah, when I saw your pictures, it looked like you had plenty to work with there.
Well, not really, because there's a road between my house, my shack, and the house. So I was looking how I could run stuff across the road, but that's kind of tricky. I have done it. When we had the old dial-up, I ran a wire across the street, high in the trees at 30 feet. Nothing ever hits it up there. But I could, run wires. But what I'm doing, I'm running stuff back in the lumber woods. There's I don't remember who they are, but we've got a woods in back of our house, and it belongs to the lumber company, over.
Okay, sure. I got you. Over.
It's illegal, I guess. They're not illegal, but not allowed to go into people's property when you don't even ask them, over.
Yeah, that's generally the case.
Oh, they do it all the time on my property.
They do it all the time on my property. The hunters come on the property and bang around with their guns, over.
Oh, well, I can't say I really had trouble with hunters, but just about every one of my neighbors over 27 years that I've been here has done something to or on my property without even the courtesy of asking me first.
One guy did ask. He was a bow hunter, and I said, sure. And so, because I'm also an archer, state champion archer, I said, sure, you can use the property. And he said, well, if I get anything, I'll give you a part of the kill there.
Well, yeah, that's a nice thing to do. My dad and I used to hunt friends of his woods down in Esperance, and occasionally we'd stop by and visit them, and we'd give them something.
Yeah, what I did today, Carl, I raised the corner of this a loop from 20 feet to 45 feet. I think that was probably a good improvement. And what happened? The frequency went up on it.
And I'm here.
Hello, Mr. Ray. How's everything going?
Going good. Just get.
What do you
Go ahead, you guys carry on.
Ray?
He's probably still warming things up.
Oh yeah, I got 2.5 minutes to go.
Roger, Roger. Well, Bob's on. He wants to check his new antenna on you.
Who's got a new antenna?
Bob.
All right, Ray, you gotta hear my 3/8 wave, see if there's any difference.
Well, you're 10 over 9 now, and it's early, so I'll have to wait until the sun goes down, but it looks good so far.
You want me to go to my other one, the helical?
Yeah, go.
Okay, here's the helical.
We'll talk a little more on it.
Okay, Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. That's the helical.
Okay, now go back.
Mary had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. This is the 3/8.
Yeah, the 3/8 is just about 2 dB better, but the helical started real low. You started just a little over a 9, and its max signal was like 10 over 9. The other one was like 12 over 9, but I'm not sure that was a real valid test. We'll try it a few more times during the night. Are you running the open wire feed line on it?
Yeah, so I got open wire going through, the PAL star to the open wire to the 3/8.
Where's the inductor and where's the bread slicer on the PAL star?
Okay, the inductor is at 78, the bread slicer is at 103.
No, you got it backwards.
The other way.
The tune control. The tune is at 78 and the other one's at 103?
Yeah, the bread slicer there, I guess, is the capacitor. So tune is at 78 and the inductor is 103.
Both of your antennas were equal here.
Sounds good. I think it'll improve when you go later on here. So we'll just keep on watching it and see.
The 3/8 had it by 10 dB here.
That's interesting, Tim.
I didn't go over to the vertical to see how it would be on that, but on the loop antenna, on the big loop.
Yeah, the 3/8 is kicking it here by 10 dB also.
Hey, Russ, great, thanks. Yeah, I'm using the Russ technique of elevating the feed line.
Elevating the feed line, you mean you don't have it buried underground, or what are you talking about?
I got open wire line going to the 3/8. The helical is with buried coax that I found in an old barn.
Roger, Roger. Hope it isn't like my buried coax. I dug it up and some rodent or something had eaten it half in two all the way down to the center hot lead there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that might be what the problem is, but mine's only been in the ground for about 7 years, so it still should be good.
I don't think so. Was it direct burial?
Yep.
Okay, then it's probably good.
I always put mine inside a conduit.
Yeah, if I were going to do it again, Ross, that's what I would do. It was when I was first got my license, so I was pretty eager, and anyway, didn't know a lot, didn't pay attention to a lot. Now I know a lot better, though.
Hey, Russ, and Randy. When Randy gets in, I'm going to read Randy and Russ. I'm going to read you something you really have to hear.
All right, I'll wait for Randy to get on board.
Boy, am I going to teach you? Well, I don't know if I'm going to teach you or you're going to whatever. I'll read it to you, and it only applies to you and Randy. Let's see if you can figure that one out.
I hope it's not politics, or I'm going to turn my radio off.
Well, that was a double. What did you say, Russ? Yeah, it only applies to you and Randy. It's a little thing I found in QST magazine.
Oh, then it's safe. I said if it's politics, I'm going to turn my radio off, or religion, either one.
Yeah, me too.
Nothing to do with politics.
I hate it when they get on and they start quoting scripture and calling Lord Jesus and all that kind of stuff. I can't stand it.
Oh, well, the politics is worse. I'm sorry, Ray. I had to leave in the middle of you and Mike. I couldn't really, couldn't find a nice place to slip in and say goodbye.
Me and Mike. Oh, what do you call him, Mike? Okay.
Yeah, Bad Mike.
I like it when Bad Mike plays Trump, though. Him and Dave do a pretty good job with that. It's funny.
Yeah, if they joke around, that's fine, but I'm talking real politics. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, we should be talking about cars or engines or antennas or radios or something. And I got a good test on the new generator today.
Which was what?
Well, I bought one of those 3,500 watt inverter generators, and I checked it out when I got it, and the thing, it's a perfect sine wave. It's absolutely beautiful, and it sits there dead on 60 hertz, 60.02, and it doesn't even budge. So today I wired up my plug into my furnace, so I just unplugged the furnace from the house and plug it into the generator, and the furnace works fine. It only draws like 2 amps. And then I did the same thing with my inside water tank that has a pressure pump in it for the house, and that's got a startup current of 21 amps, and it just fires that pump up like it was nothing. So I'm all set now, as long as I got propane and gasoline.
Carl?
Well, it's similar. It's that Predator from Harbor Freight. They were on sale this week for $700.
All right, and it's 3.5 kilowatts?
Yeah, it's the overload light starts flickering when it gets to about 25 amps. And so it's, as they say, it's 3,000 watts, 3,500 surge.
I get you. That sounds very nice. I got one of the 2000 series from Honda just for a little light duty and stuff, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, how does that inverter generator work? I've got an inverter.
It's just a motor that has to make some DC voltage to keep the capacitors charged in the inverter. And so you're not dependent on engine speed for frequency or anything, so it idles down when it doesn't have much of a load, and when the load picks up, it just idles up, goes up a little bit. So and the fact that the waveform is generated there, it's just a perfect sine wave. It's a nicer sine wave than I have coming from National Grid.
Yeah, explain how that thing works.
It's you got a couple of capacitors charged up by the DC link, and then it would either use IGBTs or thyristors to generate the sine wave, taking the DC voltage and putting it in plus and minus and whatever.
How do you get the DC voltage?
From the generator that's driven by the motor.
Yeah, how many volts DC does it put out?
Well, I imagine it's got to be some couple hundred volts or some way of charging up the capacitors. The only thing is they don't give you a schematic, so, maybe I'll be able to find one.
No, I was just kind of wondering how they worked. I mean, I got a 750-watt inverter. Of course, it won't do anything but my stove. I got a gas stove, that has a computer in it. It needs 112 volts to work, 120 or whatever to work when the power's off. Isn't that crazy?
Okay, so you're talking about an inverter running off of 12 volts.
Roger, Dodger.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that the input voltage to this would be much higher than that because you got to keep your DC link capacitors charged up beyond your 120 volts.
Roger, QSL. Yeah, it sounds good. $700 sounds like a pretty good price.
Yeah, and it looked pretty good. A lot of the reviews had problems with it, but the way I read it, the people that were having problems were the people that didn't understand the mechanics and things. So far, the only thing I've seen wrong with it, which I will remedy when it's out of warranty, is it doesn't have a fuel shutoff.
Yeah, that'd be good to have.
Anyway, support. Thanks for listening. And at this point, I'm happy.
Yeah, you're just as strong on the receive antenna as on the transmit antenna. Isn't that crazy?
Well, geez, I could practically throw a stone to you.
Yeah, you're 40 over 9 on my receive antenna and 40 over 9 on the loop antenna. You know, which says the receive antenna is not a beverage. It's some kind of a transmit antenna low to the ground.
Yeah, load up the bed springs.
I've done that. It works.
That's what I had. One of my first AM radio kit that I built when I was a kid. It was a Fuco. And I took the AM antenna there, was just a wire coming out of it, and I clipped it onto the bed springs.
Yeah, I've heard that. Did you ever hear modulate the bed springs?
Well, I never transmitted.
No, I did transmit, but did you ever hear the term modulate the bed springs? You know what that means?
Well, I guess you could take that a couple of ways.
It means to go to bed. Modulate. I'm going to go modulate the bed springs. You're going to go to bed, you know, snore in your bed.
Okay, well, that wasn't exactly what I was thinking.
Hey, Carl, was that the one where you had to wind the coils by hand? They were in like octal plugs.
No, it was I think it was one tube, and it had a big dropping resistor for the high voltage, and it got really hot. If I set it on top of something wood, it would start the wood to charn. But no, it was just a simple little thing. My dad helped me put it together with a soldering iron that we heated up in the flame on the gas stove.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I had one of our shop classes was electronics, and we built like generators, like electric motors and stuff, and from scrap wire and whatnot, and then we got one of the 6-week periods. We got shortwave radios, like AM. They were AM, and then they were shortwave from like 4 megahertz up to 12. And you had like these plug-in coils, and then the AM coil, and you wound all the coils. And I think the thing only had like 4 tubes or something like that. It only took me a weekend to build it. I was supposed to take 6 weeks to build it, but I built it in like a weekend and had it work and had it all calibrated and everything. And I just had to hide it and help other people in shop class with theirs during the 6 weeks. Otherwise, I was getting real bored.
Yeah, I remember doing that. Winding enameled wire like on a toilet paper roll.
Well, these were nice phenolic and slotted and everything. They were real nice. Yeah, I had my dad had good soldering equipment and everything, and there wasn't that many components to it. It was a fun weekend project for me, but my folks put the money together to buy that thing, and I think they probably only paid about $10 or $15 for the kit. I always wanted to buy Heathkit stuff, but I could never put the money together. I wanted to buy an HW7 and build it, and my parents shot me down on it because it was like $85 at the time.
Yeah, well, I liked all that stuff. My dad, he used to go on active duty down to Quantico and stuff. He was in the Marines for a long time, and business trips and things. And every time he'd go on a business trip or go to active duty, he'd always bring me back a little something, some little kit or some tools or little motor magnet kind of things, you know. So I got to probably thank my dad for sort of steering me in that direction. WG2E.
KC1RS. Yeah, I got a lot of encouragement. They didn't lavish a lot of money on me because I had three brothers, but so there wasn't a lot to go around. But wherever they could, they helped me out with stuff. And my dad let me use his Tram Titan 1CB radio back in the mid '60s. That was a lot of fun.
I got a question on the toilet paper roll there, Carl.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you fill the whole roll up completely, or do you remember?
Geez, I want to think it was a good portion of it. It was the first radio I actually built it was out of a book, and they called it the foxhole radio. And you wound a coil on a toilet paper roll, and you used a safety pin with a pencil lead tied to it, scratching it across one of those steel razor blades. And that was my crystal radio with a high impedance headphone. And it actually worked, but the only thing I could get was KDKA because we lived like 30 miles from Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm trying to build up a little crystal set as a prototype for my grandson. And I wound up a coil on a piece of PVC, and I'm checking it with my grid depth meter to see where it dips. I got a capacitor out of a AM radio and a diode, 1N34 or something, but I can't get the thing to receive anything on my 500-foot wire over.
Geez, you sure would think it would get like WGY or something.
Yeah, I can't find out what frequency it's on. I'm thinking I don't have enough inductance, so I'm going to line some more wire on there. Maybe that'll solve it.
Yeah, you're going to need, oh, geez, if you've got a 365 PF air variable, you're probably going to need a 200 or 300 microhenries at least, I would think.
I'm sure I would, but how do I know how much is 200 or 300 microhenries without a bridge?
Well, they have inductor checkers. I would say if you had an Amadon 50 or one of their 80 by 43 cores. If you pack that thing with windings, you would probably you'd probably have a sufficient amount of inductance to go all the way down into the long wave region.
Well, the only Amadon I have, and I'm holding it now, is about 2 inches outside diameter over.
What's the material of the core?
Iron, I guess it's Amadon, whatever. I've used it to build 4-to-1 gallons and stuff.
Is it painted a color? Is it red or is it yellow and white?
Yeah, black on one side and red on the other.
That's probably like a number 2 material, I would think. That's that's iron powder.
But I don't think that's big enough, right?
Yeah, I don't think that'll get you down into the broadcast band without you spending a day and a half of packing out with number 30 enameled wire.
Why don't I just add it on to what I got already and put it right in series? Couldn't hurt it, give me more inductance.
Yeah, the thing is you don't get a whole heck of a lot of inductance out of that, out of those number 2 cores. If you had something with a little bit higher initial permeability, like 43 material, like they use for choke material and stuff like that. Those don't require as many things. Hold on, I gotta go.
The ones I used to make, we used an oatmeal box. We wound that up with a bunch of wire. A big Quaker Oats box there, Carl, over.
Yeah, I never used that. I wonder if maybe I could find the plans for this radio. I'm going to have to do a little Google here. WG2E.
Yeah, I looked for plans. I couldn't find any. They sort of, I've known a few crystal sets, even the old ones where we use the cat whiskers. But this one I just couldn't play. I don't know. It looks like the grid dipper would work. I maybe was looking on the wrong frequency. I should have tried to dip it on 40 meters or something.
Yeah, do a Google search on Foxhole Radio. There's all kinds of things came up.
Roger, Dodger.
All right, I'm back. The wife knocked a chair over. It sounded like she tore the end of the house off.
Yeah, okay. I just told Carl when I wound one up as a kid, I used a Quaker Oats box and put a bunch of windings on that.
Yeah, I never had any trouble with the. Let's see, I built one of them one time with just a piece of wood, and like a square wood, and then I built a wiper to go across it. And I think you'd probably be a lot better off if you built one and ignored using because a lot of the ones my dad showed me how to make, they didn't use an air variable capacitor at all. They used the running a wiper across the enameled wire way of tuning them, and always seemed to be able to tune most of the AM band that way with maybe 100, 150 windings.
Yeah,
hey, Tim.
I got a variable capacitor. Why do I need a variable inductor?
Hey, Tim.
Yes.
If you Google Foxhole Radio, there's 3 videos that come up right up at the very top. One of them's from Mr. Lava, and it's exactly what I built there with the razor blade, the pencil lead, and windings on a toilet paper tube.
Yeah, I just want to know how many windings I need to wind and what size wire. I've got some fairly thin wire. I think it's about 20 or something like that, insulated. I don't have the enamel stuff like we used to use. Of course, I'm not going to transmit into it.
I'm sure there's some answer there.
There is. The answer is, what's wrong with my Millen grid dipper? Why can't I use it? I use it. I made a trap for what was it? For 20 meters, I guess. I got a 30-foot vertical MFJ push-up pull, and I put this trap at the 16-foot mark, and it's just a coil of RG58 or something, and that acts as a trap, an RC network. And the grid dip meter worked really good. I calibrated with my receiver. I don't know what I'm missing here over.
I don't know. I think there's a way you can do it with your antenna analyzer if you have one of those too. Little loop of wire or something on that.
I do not have one. I got a bird watt meter though. Goes all the way up to 1296.
Oh man, who turned on the noise tonight?
Good evening, Mark. WG2E.
Hey, Mark, and I'm back, KT2.
Hey, Tim, their plans I'm seeing are showing a plastic Coke bottle with 100 to 120 turns of coiled around it of enameled copper wire. So that's that should cut it right there. That was about the size of the piece of pipe my dad used to use on the radios he made me.
Yeah, I wonder what size wire that is. Mine's insulated. It's teeny, probably number 20, but the insulation makes it twice as big, so I probably have to have 200 turns or something.
Number 22.
Yeah, but mine's insulated.
Now you want enameled wire. Too bad Radio Shacks don't exist anymore. They used to sell a thing of. They used to sell a 3-pack of enameled wire. I generally used enameled wire for making all the stuff that I had. If I couldn't find it, we used to get down to the dump and get transformers and unwind the wire out of them.
What's wrong with insulated wire? It should work just as well, only it's twice as fast.
Well, it's just getting through the insulation. If you're going to use a variable inductor, then you're going to run a scraper across that. You're going to wear out a section of that enamel. If you're just building for them and then using a capacitor, you're going to need it's going to be a little bit different design for the radio. The ones I used, I never had a variable capacitor on any of the crystal sets that I had.
No, it's just
all
an LC
kinds of
network.
it on Amazon.
I probably don't have enough turns. I probably need about 200 turns because the insulation makes it bigger. Yeah, well, I'll just add, get a bigger piece of PVC pipe and put 200, 300 turns on until it works.
Here's one that's using like a 365 PF air variable cap, and it looks like they're using a peanut butter jar, and I would say that they've got like 60 or 70 turns of insulated wire on it.
Yeah, I started out with a yogurt container, and I had, I don't know, 50 or 60 turns, I don't know, and then the thing just disintegrated under its own volition, and I rewound it on a piece of PVC pipe, but I think I just don't have enough turns. Well, I'll dip it. I'll go on up the bands, 40 meters, 20 meters. It's got to have a dip someplace. The grid dipper works well. You just get a dip at the resonant frequency.
Una.
Carl, you sent me that article on the low noise antenna, right? I mean, not Carl, but Russ.
Yeah, I sent that to you yesterday.
Yeah, that's interesting. You gotta have those transformers. I guess that's easy enough to make out of those Amidon cores, right?
Yeah, I use those cores for all kinds of stuff. I use them to, because they're nice and big around. I run, like if I'm suspecting a wall cube of making noise, I'll wrap the connector in the wall. The connector will fit through the middle of it, and I'll wind it through there a few turns. That 75 material is pretty good for knocking a lot of low frequency hash out of some stuff. I used it to pretty good effect on my cable television box power lead.
Roger. Yeah, I had a lot of alternator hash on my mobile one time, and I just wound the power cord, the 12-volt line around that core, and I got rid of all the hash over it.
Yeah, back in the days of regular ignition systems, with points and whatnot, you could go to Radio Shack and buy. They had brute force filter kits for keeping the ignition racket out of your and alternator whine out of your radio.
Yeah, I think it was points and condenser capacitor, as they call it nowadays. In the old days, they were called condensers and aerials.
And megacycles.
And megacycles, you got that. You're showing your age now.
Well, you know, I got a whole bunch of old ARRL handbooks, and I look through them now and then, and it's kind of cool, or it's my megacycles.
I'm back.
Okay, well, are you aware of the bobtail curtain?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the principle.
Okay, well, the bobtail curtain got started with on 40 meters, and they had, let's see if I remember it right. What I remember is the toilet ball, the old copper ball in the toilet. You're familiar with that?
I've seen them on the top of many a flag.
Well, the guys started putting those on the end of their inverted L's, and then they swore by those copper ball, and the antenna wouldn't work without the copper ball there. That gave them extra power for GX or some stupid thing. But then they put two of those inverted L's together, and they had a half square, and then they added another one of those L's, and they had the bobtail curtain over it.
Yeah, isn't that where it's got vertical elements hanging from the horizontal one? It's specific spacing, so that's what it's a quarter wavelength between the vertical parts.
You got it. There are three verticals. Typically, you feed the center vertical, quarter wave vertical, and then you go at a quarter wave either side, and you drop down also quarter wave vertical. So you're feeding three quarter wave verticals, and it fires broadside.
Well, I dropped two 28-foot sections vertically from the end of my 160 dipole, and I brought 40 meters in really, really nicely on my antenna.
On the end of which dipole?
I got a 248-foot 160 dipole with fed with Toad Harbor line, and then at the ends splayed off at angles. I've got a couple of 62-foot runs going off at like a 45-degree angle out towards the ground, and then I've got two 28-foot vertical pieces, and the ones that go up at an angle bring in 80 meters nicely, and then the 28-footers bring in 40 meters rather nicely. I got good dips on both of those meter bands without a tuner.
Yeah, that makes sense. I never tried that, but that's a good idea. Well, I first got on to this half square trying to get on 160 with my 80-meter dipole. It wouldn't work, and of course I was losing a lot in the coax feed. So I changed to open wire line, and I did the same thing. I added a 60-foot piece to either end of the 80-meter dipole, and I had a half square over.
QSL. Yeah, Tim, if you go to my QRZ page, KC1RS, there's an illustration of the antenna I just described to you.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Hard to keep a 240-foot antenna 60 feet off the ground the whole way.
Is Randy going to be in here tonight? Does anyone know?
He went to the Irish Festival. What are you talking about?
Couldn't begin to tell you.
Right,
probably
he went
passed
yesterday,
out
but
somewhere.
is he going to be home tonight?
Call him on his cell phone.
I did. He didn't answer. Is that you,
He's
Marky?
drinking green beer.
Is that you, Marky? said all the brake lines are rotted out, and he said you really need to replace them.
Cleaning up my dirty pool.
You have a pool?
Of course I have a pool. What kind of red-blooded American wouldn't have a pool?
A pole like you climb, or a pool you swim in?
A pool you swim in.
Oh, okay. Is it one of those ones you buy at the kiddie store, the kiddie pool, like, 6 inches deep and maybe 4 feet across?
It's 4 foot deep and it's 16 foot wide.
Oh, okay.
To get the leaves and stuff that were in the bottom of it out there. They got in here in the winter months and scrub it. I got a new set of hoses and scrub brush and scrubbed it and went through a couple filters, getting all the algae and garbage out of it and all the particulates out of it, and threw some more chlorine in and got her out there spinning around. By tomorrow morning, she ought to be pretty clean.
Yeah, throw 2 or 3 gallons of bleach in there.
No, Ray, you can't just pour bleach in a pool water.
Well, that's how you shock it, isn't it?
No, Ray. You buy the right kind of chemicals when you do it, or you end up killing yourself.
Well, I went to a store one time, and I looked at that shock, and basically it's just strong bleach.
It's a different kind of bleach molecule. You can't just put laundry detergent bleach in your water.
I don't know. This was many years ago, but I'm pretty sure it's the same stuff. It's just like, instead of being 5%, it's like 15%. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure when I looked at it that time, it was the same stuff.
They do sell a product called Shock, but if you look at the chlorine releasing ionic molecule in it, you'll notice that it's a bunch of different long, unpronounceable letters compared to the bottle of bleach and the stuff that's in the bag of Shock.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever. I just know it's much more expensive if you buy it. If you buy Shock, it's way more expensive than buying bleach.
Well, of course it's going to be way more expensive. Anything that's pleasure or anything that has to do with the enjoyment of your life in this country, they're going to stick it to you.
Well, that's why I would buy bleach.
If you never went anywhere and you stayed inside the house and you never did anything with your whole life, you could probably just, live on $2 a month. But for the rest of us that like to enjoy life...
That's me. I still have my first communion money. I remember it to this day. I made a fortune. I made $35. $35
on what?
My first communion.
How did you make money on your communion?
Well, people give you presents,
Oh, well, that's because you didn't whine enough. And you picked the wrong religion. You should have been Jewish.
Oh, do they get more money when they have their bar mitzvah? I would hope so.
Man, being Jewish is all about the money, because they don't have an afterlife like Christians do.
Oh, I said they don't believe in an afterlife?
No. You got to get it all right now, baby.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains a lot.
Well, let's explain Gehenna.
Guyana? You mean
whoa,
the Kool-Aid?
Watch what you call me.
Are you talking about the Kool-Aid, Russ?
Throwing these big terms and words out here like this in the uneducated public. Shame on you.
Russ, hello, calling Russ.
It's Gehenna's a place where you go if you're cursed. I don't know if it's Jewish as much as just an old Israeli thing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Guyana, where Jim Jones mixed the Kool-Aid.
there ain't much difference. Gehenna was a term that was used in the vernacular of Hebrew to describe the place upon which the Israelites would throw garbage outside the walls. A city that was constantly kept burning with phosphorus and sulfur and would never go out. That's how they burned their garbage and corpses and other stuff. It was used symbolically to stand for complete destruction, no return from it. Once you go there, you're completely finished, dead, end, over, finished, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, Ray.
Yes.
There's a company here that keeps coming up quite often. It's called Dorman, D-O-R-M-A-N. So you might want to try that in a search, whoever is going to do it for you.
Aren't they in New Jersey?
But do they sell stainless steel brake line kits for different kinds of trucks?
As far as I can tell, without delving too deeply, but I'm still looking.
Well, the Dorman, I think it is. We actually installed their blinds in their warehouse building. I've been in their facility.
Well, drive over and see if they have a stainless steel brake line kit for a 2001 Chevy Blazer.
Oh, I'm probably sure they do. They have a whole bunch of aftermarket stuff for the automobile industry.
A lot of stuff on eBay, too, but I'm not going to go through all that. Summit Racing comes up a couple of times, too.
Okay, let me give my friend Paul a call, see if he's in automotive, so maybe I can get him to do it. Hang on.
And 3 or more past the 10.
WG2E.
KT2E.
Judy!
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I know you by your call.
I'm doing okay.
I don't actually know you, though.
Yeah, not yet.
Like most people on this frequency. And boy, could we use a little rain. It's starting to get dry. Try the northern-facing beverage here. Maybe there's less noise. Nope, I was wrong. Just brutal. I did a little bit of 80-meter work this morning, too, at the amp, and, that was kind of interesting.
What'd you use for the antenna?
Oh, I got an 80-meter dipole NVIS system for that band.
What, 20 feet or something? Why is it?
I tried both. I have a vertical for 80 as well as a dipole, but he was in Jersey, so the dipole worked better.
Yeah, how high is the dipole? I'm sorry, it's on my receive antenna. How high is the dipole?
Oh, let me think. That's about 30 foot off the ground.
Roger, Dodger. Yeah, I was over on the receive antenna. It's like 5 feet off the ground when I was talking to you. It's crazy. I could put it on the ground and you could still hear me.
I can tell you're there sometimes, but I have to kind of piece together what you're saying, because even on the low noise receive antenna, since mine's not long enough to be a true beverage, quote, it will pull you out sometimes.
You can't copy me now? You're 20 over 9.
I sure wish you were.
Where are you located?
Down here near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, by the Harrisburg International Airport.
Oh, yeah, you got a lot of noise. I remember that. What's it called?
Norway 3, radio. Mexico, radio.
Yeah, Whiskey 3, Hotel November, Valley Forge.
Oh yeah, well we're still pretty close here. Yeah, and my north source is coming from the west. We have a big line of thunderstorms that are, well, they're not quite to State College. They're a little bit west of State College yet, and they're heading our way. So as the night progresses, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I'm only running 400 watts. I don't have a kilowatt. Oh, Russ, are you still there? KC1RS, W3HHN.
Hello, Russ, are you still receiving?
Yeah, I tried a loop right on the ground the other night. There was absolutely no noise. Signals were about S3 or S4, but no static, no noise. It was interesting. How about Bob? Are you there? Everybody got off frequency.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I went over to the loop there, and there's 20 over crashes, and you're not quite 20 over. So, I mean, I had to stay on the beverage, and even that's just getting to be really, really abusive. I can see the clouds moving in from the west out the window here, but it's not anywhere close enough to be visible. I probably won't see any lightning or any storm action till at least probably 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tonight, if they hold together. So, but nonetheless, it's just creating a real mess on the receive.
Roger. Yeah. Bob, I was just wondering if you were still on frequency.
Yeah, I'm listening here, Tim.
And are you copying me all right?
Coming in fine.
Okay, because RMR cannot copy me.
Yeah, I got you fine here, and I can hear him too.
And that's that 3/8 antenna. Describe how you've got it made. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it goes up to a tree at about a 90-degree angle. It's not 90, it's about 80, so it's kind of a little bit of a slant. Then it goes over to the southeast for a while, up still slightly to a higher tree, then comes down. The max height's probably 65, 70 feet. Then it comes down to about 20 feet off the ground, and then hits back towards the origin for about another 20 feet, and that's the 220-foot total length.
Yeah, why did you decide on 220 feet?
Well, I thought it was going to have to be around 180 when I calculated out the 3/8. Let's see, 3/8 on 193. I thought it was around 180 to 190 feet. Ray suggested making it 220, and then I can start cutting it back. So that's what I did. I made it 220, and I just haven't cut it back any.
Hey, Ray.
Ray, are you there? We're calling you. I guess he ain't here.
No, you might be on the phone. I found another company here that makes these.
Anyway, let me continue on there with Bob for a second. My experience building at least a dozen of these, or maybe more, is that you need about 60 feet vertical, 60, 70 feet vertical, and 110 to 130 feet horizontal, something like that, Bob, over.
Yeah, that's what it looked like for most of the inverted J's that I looked at. So this is my first. That's where we are. I can start paring it back and compare it if you think that might be better. Over.
I don't. If you take the load I think it's fine. You're peaking 30 over 9 right now. What's your QTH?
Lace up.
Roger, yeah, you're peaking 30 over 9. So you can try it. It probably wouldn't be worse. You could save the wire. I'm just getting ready to build some open wire line. Randy's going to kill me. I'm going to use insulators for the spreaders. How about that?
Hey, you know, if it works, it works.
Well, insulator spread. I got a whole bunch of them. They're plastic. They're not ceramic. And they were cheap. And I'm going to not put them every 8 inches or 10 inches, whatever he does. I don't need a bunch. I'm talking 30 feet because I got a loop at the end of this antenna. I opened it up and it's a rhombic for 40. I closed it and it's a full wave loop for 160.
Yeah, that should do fine.
And they're going to be, I don't know, let's see if I got 6. 6 goes into 35 times. So, I don't know. I've got 6, and that would be like every 5 feet, put an insulator there, a spreader. He's going to fuss. They're not uniform, you know. You're going from 2 to 4 inches, no big deal.
Yeah, it should do fine.
And I better build it in about 10 minutes. Let's throw them all on, and then I'm just going to wire them in, not any of those zip ties or any of that sort of stuff over.
Sure. Yeah, I think that'll do fine for you.
And I'm not going to transmit. It's just a loop at the end of my. It's just a stub, a tuning stub at the end of my loop over.
Roger. Yep, got it.
Because my loop is too short. It's about. Let's see. I've got what have I got in there? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 stubs in there, various places. Of course, I know it makes a difference where you put the stub, how much you need, but I've got 3 stubs in there, and each stub is about 10 feet. So I've got about 10. I've got about 30 feet of extra wire stubbing in there, tuning stub over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's, I got you. I read it.
I may not need it. I'm going to pick up from Mike tomorrow his tuner. He sold the tuner to me. I may not need it. May just take all the stubs out and feed it directly with his tuner. So I'm waiting to get his tuner and see how it works. I probably might even take all the stubs out. But I didn't tune the antenna to resonance. I tuned the antenna to the antenna tuner. Usually you tune the antenna to your tuner, but I'm tuning the tuner to the antenna over. In other words, I'm putting enough wire so that my tuner works.
Yeah, I see. So you're bringing it to where, it just brings you closer in so the tuner, it's within range where the tuner can grab it.
Yeah, it's a homebrew tuner, LC network. It's a homebrew tuner, just an L and a C. And, different coils hanging around. It's a real dog there. I had a good one, but it all corroded out, so it's just a real jerry rig. So, but it does tune 160, 80, and 40. 160, 80, and 40 right now. Over.
Yeah, sounds like it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I've got 3 taps on the various coils. I got 2 coils in series, and they're all air coils. And was strictly experimenting blind, no idea what I was doing. I got the diagram out of the handbook, an L and a C. One is for high impedance, one is for low, for high impedance over.
So were these parts that you happened to have around, or did you have to go pick them up special?
No, it's an old tuner that I had. It was they call it the universal trance match in the handbook. The roller inductor went out on me, and it got all dirty, and I didn't know how to clean it, so I just used part of the parts, mostly the capacitors in there. Over.
Yeah, understood. Over.
Which antenna are you on now, Bob?
It's the 3/8.
Yeah, okay. Well, so it seems like it's improvement over the other one. You're up 15, 20 over once in a while.
Hey, Ray.
I don't think I was ever that high at your place with my other one, was I?
Not usually. Your average signal's about 10 over. Now you're 20. Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
Hey, there's another place I found. It's called sstubes.com. And they have a steel kit for $170, a stainless steel kit for $212. sstubes.com.
Are they already pre-bent and ready to go?
That's what it looked like.
Okay, thank you.
Whoever threw that carrier, could you please continue to do that for the rest of the night?
Do what?
Somebody was tuning up exactly on frequency, and it got rid of all my lightning noise.
Oh, okay.
Careful what you ask for.
Okay, Bob, let's do the CNAB again, Bob. Just say this is A, this is B. Blind test.
Okay, this is the 3/8A. This is A. Mary had a little lamb. Fleece was white as snow everywhere the Mary went. The lamb was sure to go. This is A. Now I'm going to switch to B. Okay, this is B. Mary had a little lamb. Whose fleece was white as snow everywhere that Mary went. The lamb was sure to go. Now I'll switch back to A. Okay, this is A. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. And this is A. All right, there we are.
Yeah, you got a good solid 10 dB.
A is better by 10.
A is better by 10.
Well, there you go, Ray. There's your proof in the pudding.
Now all you have to do is get that
receive?
thing
They better by 10 on
as
receive
straight as
also?
you can. You know what I mean? Up 70 and then over the rest, flat. Because you're going out and then you're bent and you're coming back around, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It looks like an L, and then it comes out. It looks more like a capital Gamma with a foot on the end of it.
Well, when you fold it back on itself, how far apart are the wires apart?
About 50.
Oh, okay. So it goes out, over, and then back, and the wires are separated by 50 feet?
Yeah, the peak is up about 65, 70 feet. It comes down, and then it's about 15 feet off the ground, coming back about 20 feet.
Okay, but I don't know if I'm understanding you. Let's say you go up 70 feet, and then you go out so far before you fold it back. What direction is it going when it's going, after you get up to 70 feet and it's going out, what direction is that wire going?
It's going south by southeast, going out flat, then comes down nearly straight, and then comes back kind of right under how it's going out, but it's only about 15 feet off the ground when it comes back over.
Okay, so is there any way to go from where it ends up there and just go over 30 or 40 feet and then come back another 100 feet, just keep on making it longer and longer?
I'll have to move it over, so where I'm going up, if I move it to the north, I got another 30 or so feet, 30 or 40 feet, probably 30 feet I can do it that way.
Yeah, okay, we'll try to get the whole, where you fold it. Wow, I just heard you hear that big explosion? Wow, that was a big boom. Anyway, it comes, when it comes back underneath it, that's not good because it's only 15 feet off the ground. Try to get that up high and, even add some more length to it. But I mean, hey, you got 10 dB. You have to get another 5 if you get it up high and maybe even lengthen it a little more because the impedance of that antenna right now, I'm guessing, is probably 400 ohms. So it's probably pretty close match to your feed line. So it's working good. Hey, you got 10 dB. That's pretty good. You can't complain about that. And 1 dBl.
Yeah, I'll see how it works and then see if I can. It'll be a work in progress, and I'll see if I can fix it a little better. Like you said, it's not ideal, but hey, it's up and it's working, so now I got something to work with.
Well, you almost hit 30 over 9 that time, so it certainly works a hell of a lot better than the other antenna.
Yeah,
but of course, I'm sure it was going to.
How does my signal compare to his? We're fairly close.
You're 30 over 9.
There you go. You got the same signal as me, Bob, and I've got a full wave loop.
Yeah, but you're steady 30 over. I have to really yell into the microphone to do that.
How much power are you running?
Oh, let's see. I'm peaking at about, right now, looks like 700, between 700 and 800 watts.
Yeah, I'm only peaking 400 watts. You got a little more power, but, that's hardly a dB. That's not even a dB over.
Yeah, so it's definitely improvement. So chalk one up to the Toad Harbor guys.
I'd like to know how you are in North Carolina, how you compare with me in North Carolina.
Hey, I don't know. We'll have to get somebody down there to come back in.
Where's Gary been, NC3Z? I haven't heard him in ages.
There's a group on 1888 every morning at 4 a.m. down in Kentucky that I've been talking to.
So it's 1888?
1888. They're on from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Are they a friendly group?
He's on 1855 right now.
They talked to me when they could hardly copy because of the static was so bad over.
Gary's on 1855?
Yes.
Okay, let's go talk to him.
So does anybody know if Randy's coming in tonight or he'll be back tomorrow?
I haven't heard anything. No texts or nothing.
Wow, yeah, because I called him on the phone and he didn't answer.
Hey, he's got a weekend away with the lovely bride. Would you answer?
Ham radio friend? Oh, absolutely.
I wonder if he got recruited by Sinn Féin.
Maybe he went and took a ride on a Zoom flume.
A Zoom flume?
Yeah, it's a water park that's down there.
Maybe he's paddling one of those swan boats around. Well, he probably isn't going to come in. So, Russ, I'm gonna read you the article. Are you listening? I know. He said he said he had to take off a long time ago. He said, I gotta go, and he just took off. So, Russ, are you in there?
He came back after that. His wife dropped something, and it made a big bang in the house.
Oh, okay.
My ears hurt. Hello, Toad Harbor people. Who's tuning up? Somebody's tuning up W2 Caroline.
Hello, Randy. WG2E.
Hi, Carl.
I wasn't tuning up. That was somebody else.
Somebody was making some noise.
I was tuning up on 1935. That probably wasn't it. KD1MW.
My damn ears hurt.
Hello, Bruce.
Can you copy me? Okay, Carl. I'm just barefoot.
Yeah, you're about 10 over.
Hi, Bruce. I can copy, but there's a lot of static taking you out.
Yeah, I'll turn the amplifier on. There's 20 over noise here.
There we go.
Hi, you're coming in fine with me. You're better than 20 over, Bruce.
So, hi, Ray. How you doing?
Doing good. How's everything with you? Did you hear from Randy today?
Early on, I heard we were just back and forth, but I haven't heard from him since. Have you?
He was on this morning.
No, I called him on the phone about half hour ago, and he never answered.
I'm not sure if he's back home yet, or he's still away.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to find out. Well, don't everybody speak at once.
Oh, I think the lightning's saying enough for everybody.
Well, I don't know. I'm hearing you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you, but it's like listening to you through, about 10,000 guys beating on trash cans.
Well, put your AGC on fast. That helps actually quite a bit.
Yeah, that makes it sound like 15,000 trash cans instead of 10.
No, it makes the voice easier to copy.
But your voice is so smooth and mellow, it comes right through.
Of course, I'm on a Kenwood.
Hi, Mark.
I heard somebody in there say something, Mark, good evening.
W2KRY. Hi, Mark.
Could you put on your 10,000 watt amplifier?
Well, I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave.
I'm so confused.
Take a deep breath.
Oh, copy, Ray.
I hear you.
We can't hold it. So is Randy heading back home tonight, Ray, or is he staying down for another night, do you know?
No, like I said, I called him a while ago on the phone, and he never answered, so I really do not know.
I'm just wondering if he said anything beforehand, that's all.
No, he didn't say anything to me.
He could have been hit by lightning, struck by a falling tree, swept away by rising floodwaters. Oh, my God. Who knows?
Just for the hell of it. How long's your feed line, Bob?
Feed line is about 80 feet.
80 feet, okay, because that's going to really determine the setting on the tuner quite a bit. But because your bread slicer is way up at 70, that's a fairly low impedance. I'm just guessing that your impedance is probably 60 to 80 or 90 ohms.
I don't know. Yeah, I could. Yeah, you may be right. That's why it's so low.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, that's good that your inductor. You don't want the inductor. You don't want the inductor down to 0. That's bad. So, that's using the whole length of the inductor. You're better off with it where it is. Mine's at 205, which is remarkable that it can be that high, but that's where it is.
Yeah, I see. I just had to retune mine, so my tune is on 90 and the inductor is like 147.
Yeah, see, that's you're gonna run out of the bread slicer. That's the problem. So what you'd have to do is oh God, I don't know. Let me think about this. Probably lengthen the antenna. Yeah, you'd have to lengthen the antenna. So if you lengthen the antenna, that'll bring the bread slicer down.
So lengthen it will give more capacitive reactance.
I think the impedance, if the antenna impedance goes up, I think it'll go up at the tuner too. Because a quarter wave is about, let's say 50 ohms without a real good ground system. A quarter wave is about 50 ohms impedance. A 3/8 wave is about 200 ohm impedance. A half wave is about 2,500 ohm impedance. So you're somewhere between those 2 points. So I'm just guessing if you got that thing higher above the ground and you added another 20 feet to it or so, you would probably, the bread slicer is probably going to go down towards 40 or 30, and the inductor, I don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah, I think I'll see if I can get the top part flatter, and I'll be able to run an insulator around it, shoot a wire over another tree, and just pull it up higher over there. I got a 70-foot tree I can go to.
Yeah, I would say so, because obviously the antenna's working quite a bit better.
I don't know. It's a good question. I would try shortening and see if it got better. It might get worse there, Bob.
Yeah, but if you shorten the antenna, it's going to lose all the extra signal that you're getting from the longer wire.
Yeah, but he's canceling part of it by bringing the bottom part parallel to the top part over.
No, I understand that, but he's going to fix that and straighten that out and go off some other direction.
Yeah, that'd be good if it could make it all horizontal at the top of it. It would be good.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. I'm just not sure I got the real estate for it, but I'll give it a shot.
Do the best you can. I was Ray, did you know I was a state champion archer?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. I gave it up to run marathons, but I was out with my bow. I got a compound bow, a bare bow. It takes 60 pounds to pull it, 30 to hold it, and I'm too old to pull it now. So I got one of my recurves out, maybe 25 pounds, and I can shoot 60 feet with that. I was surprised.
Well, why don't you take the bare bow and reconfigure it and just bring it back down to say 45 pounds, and then when it lets off, it'll only be 20.
I don't know how to do it. Can I just look at it and it's obvious?
I don't know anything about them, but I know they're pretty much fully adjustable, so go find a place that sells bow and arrows and bring it over and have them explain it to you.
Yeah, it's usually a turn per leaf, if you will. And one WCW.
What do you mean turn per leaf? What are you talking about?
If you look at it, you're going to find a quarter-inch, it's usually a quarter-inch Allen wrench key, and each leaf, if you look at the compound, the way the leaf is made, there's going to be a turn. And if you do a full turn, every full turn is usually about 2 pounds of down pressure, but you got to do each leaf evenly. You bring it to the bow shop, they'll put it on a machine, and he'll adjust it.
I never do anything evenly. I'm going to go to YouTube, and probably they'll tell me.
Yes, sir. You could do that, too. Anyways, good evening, everybody.
That's good to know, because I got a rod and reel on it, and that's the nuts. And I'm going to take your advice. I lost a lot of arrows because the string breaks and the arrow goes out in the woods someplace. I never can find it. Ray, didn't you give a tip on how not to lose the arrows?
I lost one of mine. I didn't lose it. It's hanging up in a tree. I know where it is, but eventually it'll fall. But I only lost the one.
So what are you using for weight on the end of the arrow?
No weight, just the arrow.
No, I tape a nail on the end there.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. My arrows are longer than they should be. They're pretty heavy.
Yeah, I wanted more weight, so I tape a nail. That thing, I can shoot up to 100 feet with that 60-pound compound over.
Oh, I'm sure, absolutely.
But this recurve, I used to teach archery, and I got a bunch of bows. And I got the strongest one that I could find of the dozen or so bows. And I was shooting at 60 feet today. I couldn't believe it. But the nice thing about the compound is it has a whole rod and reel on it. I used to shoot carp with a fishing arrow, hunting arrow. I used to get a lot of carp, but it has a rod and reel on it. You can just reel your string back in over it.
Yeah, well, that's what I have on mine too. And if you do it right, it seems to work good.
It's a nuts, but I can't pull 60 anymore.
Well, Dennis just told you how to do it.
Yeah, you get on radio, you get a solution to everything.
That's absolutely true.
But the only difference that I find was because mine, when I first got my my compound, I had it about 60, and it started getting easier and easier to pull back because I'm younger. And I did a quarter turn or a full turn round, and I jumped up to 62 pounds. But as you jump up in 62 in the poundage, your arrow weight changes. So if you're going to go down lower, you may have to change your arrow. For me, when I went up, I've got to change my arrow and my weight.
Yeah, I went into Dick's Sporting Goods, wanted some arrows, and he said, "What's that for?" And he said, "I said it's for my compound. What's the pull?" I said, 60 pounds. He said, "I can't tell you the arrow. You're going to snap it."
Right,
said,
and there's so much technology in the arrows compared to what Ray's using. He's using the old aluminum arrows, and they're sensitive on the weight too. But you can adjust that with the different weighted tips. But for me, on the classification with the arrow, like you said, I would snap it. So as I go up in poundage with the bow, I've got to change the arrow to match the poundage that I'm running on mine. I'm probably not distinctively saying it properly though.
I understand. Do you know how long it takes to tune a bow up properly?
I don't know. I was there all day when they set mine up.
It takes about a day. I have a regular competition bow. It's over $1,000, and to really tune the whole thing, I don't even remember how to do it. I haven't shot probably in 20 years. Let's see, I ran my first marathon at age 60, so I haven't shot in over 20 years, competition. But it took a whole day to tune that sucker up, the arrows and all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I was there for about 5 hours, and I came home and let her rip and practiced for about 3 days, and boy, I'll tell you what, that guy he knew what he was doing when he set it up. And it's real weird how they do it. Now, if you were doing competition 20 years ago, you're using the quick release?
Roger.
Yeah. See, that's all new to me. I said, yeah. I said, you got a tab? He goes, we don't use tabs. He says, tabs are way back in the day, and I started laughing. I wouldn't go back to the tab. I love the quick release now. It's so accurate, smooth if you squeeze it, and it's really nice. November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey.
Whiskey 3 Hotel November.
Kilo Tango 2 Delta.
WG2E.
N1 Delta Victor Lima.
W2KRY.
Who's the weak one?
81 Mountain Whiskey.
Mountain Whiskey.
Yeah, I just went down to 1855 and talked to Gary.
Well, I know. I was told I had to come in here because Ray was going to spank my butt.
We don't have anybody far enough away. Well, I don't know. Maybe Bruce. Bruce, how's our signal to you?
What's this R business? You were asking me how your signal is?
Me and Dennis. Whose signal's bigger to you down there today?
Hey, Dennis, go ahead. Let it rip, baby.
Hey, Bruce. What, are you on a different radio tonight?
You bet. You've got good ears. I'm on the old Yaesu 990 because the 7300 is repurposed for short term.
Understand. I like that 990. Boy, that thing had a nice receiver. It was great on CW.
Sorry, double. Give me some punchy syllables. Excuse me.
Ray had no antenna, and I dummy loaded him.
Okay, and N1 Delta Victor Lima.
Wow. I want to see that again.
Okay, N1 Delta Victor Lima. Mary had a little lamb, and her fleece was white as snow.
Go, Dennis.
Oh, I'm supposed to go? Oh, Mary had a little lamb, fleece as white as snow.
Oh, Ray, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to give you the bad news, but Dennis has got you by about 3 or 4 dB, I guess. You're both over 40, and Dennis is just kissing 44, 45, no, up to almost to 50, and you're slightly under him. That last transmission. That could change, though, because I've seen your signal bigger.
I'm sure it'll go up later.
Keep trying, Ray. Keep trying. You keep working on that antenna.
I do. Every day I go out and I change this or change that.
Just let me know when we want to come over, and I'll set it up for you.
Okay, now wait a second. Let's see. Marky, are you out there? Okay, N3 RMR, N1 DVL.
I knew I'd get him all riled up tonight, Bruce.
Well, you're experienced at this.
Mark, are you listening?
Anyways, what a beautiful day it was today. I hope everybody had a good day and got everything they needed to get done to relax for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, no, today was a nice day, that's for sure. It was beautiful out.
Just about anything will be more relaxing than today. I was busy since sun up to sundown. Big day at the Mountain Whiskey roadside stand. Sold a lot of plants. There was a lot of pent-up buying from all the overcast and cool days. All the gardeners were out today.
Oh,
Did you sing to those
working
plants?
On your Kenwood 890 fund?
No, that money has to go to the property taxes and all that crap. It's not destined. Although I did sell some stuff today. I sold a couple of big old sound reinforcement speakers, and that money can go towards the 890 fund.
Okay, that sounds good. Now you just got to sell that generator up on the tower. Hey, I was watching a show today on generators, you know, the big ones like out in the ocean and the big one up here on the Mass Pike and everything. And they said that on a big generator like that, when the blades are good and, you know, they're not all beat up from the leading edge getting whacked out, that one revolution of the blade will run the average household for 24 hours.
Wow, that's quite a statistic. So, what is that, about 40 kilowatt hours to run the average household? Well, what's the average household? Maybe. Let me see. I'll get the calculator out. It's probably, let's call it 500 kilowatt hours a month. Divide that by how many hours in a month? 720, I think. So that's 0.69 kilowatts per hour times 24. 16 kilowatt hours. So how do you figure that for one revolution? 16 kilowatt hours per revolution? Wow.
Don't they turn about 14 RPM?
Oh, I think they're faster than that. Let's see. Yeah, Mississippi 1, Mississippi 2. Probably turn faster than that. I think they turn more like 30 RPM. But that one up on the Mass Pike, Bruce, you saw that one, right?
Yeah. And the better one, breather RPM with the wind speed. to maintain the lift across the length of the blade. Yeah, I saw that one, Ray. There's different sizes too. The bigger ones turn slower, obviously.
How'd you like to have that baby in your backyard? You know the thing that kills me is, you know how big that one is up there, right? That thing is absolutely incredibly large, and you know that thing's generating, that to turn that blade, I'm guessing that blade's got to be 1,500, more than that, probably 2,500 horsepower to turn that blade. What kind of tower? That tower. I'd like to really look at that tower. How's those towers made that they can be that strong?
There are a tapered tubular tower with a wall thickness is maybe 2.5 inches of steel.
Yeah, okay. They have to be strong. I mean, because, not only has it got the torque from the blade going around and the wind pushing on it, but it's also got that constant vibration, so that's got to be pretty tough.
You ever been near one of those things?
A lot of stress. At the high wind speeds, there's a ton of pressure, and that's why they fold the blades, they feather them so that they trail into the wind and there's less surface area facing the wind. The pressure, is a square function of the wind speed. The force pushing at the top, and that's a big lever. All the strongest pressure is right at the top, so the base is an enormous structure that is, all these bolts into the great huge steel footing, and plus the ones in the ocean are different. They're driven into the seabed. But so the RPM will vary, and like I say, the better designs will turn faster with faster wind. That means they can be more efficient. But the thing is, these new ones are they've done away with the most problematic component in the older designs. That's the gearbox is gone, and those are direct drive alternators. That's probably as big as the side of a house almost. Huge alternator, big permanent magnet ring structure. And the starting torque on that must be enormous, just to get it rolling, getting it past the cogging of the permanent magnets. And it's amazing. But that really increased the reliability, because the gearbox were major headache in the service of those things.
It's very hard to believe they couldn't design. It's a very low speed gearbox. I mean, if the gears were made right and the lubrication, they're sitting in good, high quality, the right oil. It's hard to believe they'd wear out going that slow.
Well, they were running, generators at 1,800 RPMs, and the thing's running at, like you said earlier, 40, 60 RPMs. So think of the gear ratio. So they had to redesign from the other end of it to slow down the generator. So they made it huge and direct drive. It's kind of funny because there's a parallel in history where in the old rural electrification days in this country, when there was no power, there was a lot of wind generators that were on farms and places, and they it sort of followed the same evolution, where the early ones had generators that might have come out of a car or a higher speed generator, and they used gearboxes, and all the early ones that had gearboxes were just problematic and they failed early. But then the Jacobs Wind Electric Company came out with a direct drive generator, DC generator, brushes, big commutators, and those things lasted forever. They were beautifully overbuilt, and They only had 14-foot diameter blades on them. But, that produced power and charged batteries and gave farms lights and could run motors and stuff. It was beautiful. Pretty good for the day. But then when the power lines the Rural Electrification Administration came in, put the power lines down, don't need those pesky old windmills anymore. So they all went to the scrap heap.
Okay, I think the sun went down now, and your signal's hitting 40 and 45 over 9. So, is my signal stronger to you now?
Slightly, yes.
Okay, I thought so. After the sun goes down. And Mark, did you ever come back yet? Okay, well, how was your generator, Bruce? How did yours work? Is that's gear driven?
Actually, there is a big hypoid gear drive at the top. It's I think it's a 9-to-1 gear ratio. Yeah, they sort of went backwards there. Same company that made the direct drive one way back in the 30s, 40s, made that one. Same principles. The Jacobs brothers, and later day their son. But it's a gear drive. There are a lot of problems with the design. There are direct drive, smaller ones made now, and they're more reliable. Not so much more efficient, but more reliable. There weren't too many problems with that particular gearbox because it was really robust. But, you get a lot of different other mechanisms, drive shafts splined into the bottom of the gearbox, and the splines over time would get loose, and universal joints and bearings, and then they made a lot of other mistakes on it too. So I don't know if there's many of those at all left running.
How much power did that put out when it was running right?
The maximum power was 10 kilowatts in a 25 mile an hour wind. And it would put out about 4 kilowatts in a 20 mile an hour wind. And it would start charging at about 7 miles an hour wind. But at this particular site, the overall output for a given month, or if you average the month out, it was close to 1,000 kilowatt hours a month, maybe a little less.
Well, so 1,000 a month, that'll run a house with no problem.
Yeah, yep.
And it's not worth fixing?
No, I don't think it is. Not for me. I mean, it's a maintenance issue, and it's 100 feet in the air. If the tower tilted over and I could work on it standing on terra firma, it would be running now.
Yeah, no, I realize that. Yeah, okay. No. Yeah, that's the trouble with anything like that. It's costly, and in the long run, it costs you the same amount of money as if you have it or you're just buying the electricity in the long run, right?
Yeah, well, I've got 1,000 square feet of solar panels on racks on the ground, and I didn't ever have to touch them. And they produce more power than the windmill did.
Yeah, oh, that's good. Yeah, but they only do it during the daytime.
Yeah, that's true, but we have the electric company here to back us up and an arrangement with them, so it's fair to us. It's kind of fair to them.
Do you, did you ever measure on a full moon night, the solar panels put out any power?
No, I've never, it's an interesting thing. I've never even put a voltmeter across them. I should. That would be a good thing to try. But I've never tested it, but they don't produce anything.
What do you mean they don't produce anything? I was told on a bright moon night that solar panels still put out a little tiny bit of power.
Well, you might be able to read the voltage across it, but I don't think there would not be enough energy coming in the light hitting them to get anything out of it. Maybe a milliwatt or so.
Not enough to open the voltage charge controller.
Okay. Now, Dennis, are you still here?
Well, don't use a charge controller.
Am I still here? Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, Bruce and Mark, check our signals, me versus Dennis. Okay, I'm going first, then Dennis goes. Go ahead, Dennis, and then I'll go, and then you go again. Okay, everybody watch their meters. Go ahead, Dennis.
November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
Okay, N1, Delta, Victor, Lima. Go ahead, Dennis.
And here is November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
Okay, what do you see, Mark?
I'm busy. I'm not here by the radio.
Oh, my God. What good are you? What about you, Bruce?
I'm going to call it a tie. It's identical.
Okay, well, that's good. See, my antenna's working better.
It's about 30 over here, KT2D, neck and neck.
See, my new antenna works.
Yeah, for what? A month?
No, this one's up. No, this one I changed around a little bit. It should last just fine. The reason the other one broke is because I was stupid. I put a splice in the wire, and the wire was the one going over the tree. So the slice was right where it was bending in the branches, and it broke right at the splice. This one's a complete solid piece of wire. This one I don't think is going to break.
Okay.
It may break after a couple of years, I don't know. This is just a test. I know the important thing is the antenna definitely works better. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. It works better. So if this antenna fails, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and buy that real 256 strand wire, which is real it's like rope, very, very flexible, and it's got a very good jacket on it. And I'm going to also buy the what do you call it? The aluminum. I'm going to not aluminum, silver plated copper feed line, and I'm going to still work on that too.
Okay, well, I took a shower, came down in here because I had a phone call. I won't use the explicit words that were said, but you said you were going to mop the floor with me, and there's been no mopping going on.
Well, even before good, because you were kicking my you-know-what before substantially.
Okay. I just wanted everybody to hear that he just admitted that. Now,
I couldn't figure out why you were beating me so bad before. I still can't figure it out.
Okay. Well, anyways, now are the high school games all over? Can we have a conversation now?
Clean, but better than it was.
Are the high school games all over? Can we have a conversation now?
Okay, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
N1 WCW.
Sorry, gents.
I put this radio decodes CW, so I finally looked it up in the book. It took me a while to figure out how to do it, and I did it, and I went to 80 meters, and I was listening to some guy doing CW, and all it was gibberish. Everything is abbreviations. Almost nothing makes sense.
Well, what were the abbreviations?
Well, everything was three-letter abbreviations. I mean, I can't remember them all. There were once in a while it said QST report. You could get a little bit in here, but about 80% of it's all abbreviations.
What were you on, 3.81?
No, it was 3.5 something.
3.581?
Yeah, maybe around there.
Yeah, it was probably W1AW.
Well, whatever it was just, no normal conversation. Now that I know how to do it, I'll look into it a little more.
Yeah, try your attenuation too, because sometimes the receiver gets such a big signal that the computer thing don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, okay. Well, this signal wasn't real strong, so that wasn't the issue.
No, it wasn't W1AW then, because they're usually anywhere from 20 to 40 over. Unless your antenna's not working again.
Well, so far it's working. So, Mark, how could you get on the radio? How could you talk to us on the radio and not be by the radio? Because unless you're using your Kenwood again.
Maybe he's praying. Ow.
Boy, I came up in this radio room and I was so hot, I had to take my shirt off, and now I'm freezing. Boy, it really got cool out.
KT to the 10 after.
N1 WCW.
WCW.
Yeah, I just put a sweatshirt on. I'm downstairs in the refrigerator. It's like an ice cube down here. This is like the air-conditioned room.
So, Rusty Nail, did you ever come back?
Who's that?
Russ.
Oh, Rusty Nail. All right, I got a thing for the net. I got a thing for the net. I got a thing for the net. I got a thing for the net.
Yeah, so did I, but I wanted to read it to Russ and Randy at the same time. Now I decided I'll just read it to whoever's on, or Russ or Randy. Go ahead. What's your thing?
Nothing. I've got the inverted L with the TRC, the Drake, and I don't know what's going on here. It's not RF. I don't know what's causing it, but whenever I go to turn the amp on, and the radio shuts down, it just pops right down. I don't know what's causing it. I'm not getting RF on the audio, but as soon as I hit a peak, boom, the rig shuts down. That's the only thing that shuts down. There's no RF in the audio pre-shutting down or anything like that, and all of a sudden the amp the rig just shuts right off. Boom, it goes in like a protection mode. And I put it on every other antenna, every other thing, and I can't get it to do it anywhere else other than on that inverted L. Now, as soon as I put it on this antenna, it turned around and it did the same thing again when I jacked the high power to it. It just turned around. I'm not getting it. I'm not hearing it in the audio. Any suggestions?
Well, first of all, you have to explain better. You said the rig shuts off. Does it just go into SWR protector? Is like somebody turned the power off?
Somebody turned the power off.
Okay. Well, that's got an on-off button that you press, right?
No, it's got a turn on-off button that you turn. Click, click. It turns on, turns off. I've never experienced that before.
What kind of power supply are you running on that?
The Drake power supply.
Well, that's what it's got to be doing. It can't be the radio shutting off. It's got to be the power supply. So what I would do is I put some toroids on the power cord. First of all, I take the power cord going to the radio, and I put it in a loop. Loop it as much as you can, and see if you can get 2 or 3, loops in a circle. All the extra power cord, put it in a 6-inch diameter loop, and see if you can snap a toroid around that.
Okay. All right. I didn't know where to hit it. It seemed like I was defeating myself here, but maybe the power supply is getting some type of RF back to it. Everything's grounded, but I didn't know how to eliminate it. I'm at toroid everything over here, but I'm thinking the power supply, it shouldn't have dumped it. But yeah, it shuts the radio right off.
Well, do the same thing with the power cord. Plug it into the walls. Probably the power cord into the wall. Loop that as much as you can and put a snap-on toroid on that, or put a couple toroids on the power cord, a couple between the radio and the put them close, where the wire comes from the radio to the power supply. Put a loop there and put the toroids close to the power supply. You want them as close to the power supply as you can get. And whatever band it's on, try to get a core that is more effective on that particular band. And of course, on any vertical, you're supposed to have that choke out by the antenna. It's a line choke that keeps common mode current off the coax. Do you have one of those?
No, come on.
Well, there's the issue. And it's because they're totally unbalanced. They're very, very hot on the feed line. So the only thing you can do is you got to get one of those chokes, the special choke. It's called an un or something. I think it's an one-to-one un. I don't know if that's it. You look it up on anywhere. There was just an ad in QST. QST, I think, right in front of me. I'll tell you what they call it.
Anyways, that's what I experienced. I had the Kenwood TS520 in there because I like my old boat anchors. Not a problem. Not 1 ounce of nothing. Didn't shut it down. No RF. No hot spots. No nothing. I put the frickin' drink in there, and it failed on race day like a Ford, man. And I was like, what's going on here? Anyways, that was my little thing. I'll try some of that stuff and see where I go from there. Thank you. N1WCW.
Yeah, see if you get QST, I don't think you do, but in the newest QST, which is June, on about 3 pages in, there's an LDG commercial for all their different chokes and balance, and they show basically what you have: a 30-foot to 135-foot end-fed wire. Use a 9-to-1 on the at the antenna, and you use a 1-to-1 choke in the feed line, and you put that 5 or 6 feet from the antenna, and then that blocks the RF on the feed line. So any of those things would probably cure that problem, but it depends on how severe it is. You might have to do all 3, but anytime you run an unbalanced antenna like you're running, you should put that choke on the damn thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, it just caught me off guard because the Kenwood doesn't do it. I experienced nothing with the Kenwood, nothing.
Right, well, that's, it's different power supply, switching power supply probably.
Come on a TR7, switching my butt. You come over and pick it up, tell me it's a switcher.
No, I'm talking about, you said on the Kenwood. What's the Kenwood? Is that a plug in the wall?
Plug in the wall.
Yeah, okay, well, you probably won't have the problem with that, so that's what it is. It's just that power supply is getting zapped by RF.
Okay. Bruce?
Hello.
You concur?
Yeah, I'm wondering how you remedy the off condition. Do you cycle the switch on the radio, or how do you turn it back on once it trips?
Once it trips, I turn the power switch down off, and I wait a second, and I turn it back on.
Is there any way to measure the voltage coming from the power supply?
If I pull the Molex off the back of it, yeah.
Yeah, there's no voltmeter on the rig itself.
No, sir.
It'll be interesting to see if that is what's dying, if the power supply's crapping out and just dropping the voltage coming to the rig, then what Ray's talking about is definitely the situation.
Okay, all right. I'll do that. If not, I'll drill and blast, and I'll use one of the Astrons.
Is it a 12-volt radio?
Yeah, it's the Drake TR7 with the matching power supply.
Yeah, Bruce, that's the one that goes down to 160 kilohertz on transmit.
Ah, cool. You ever have it down there, Dennis?
No, sir. It transmits down there, Ray?
Mine did, yeah. Well, mine was modified for out of band, but yeah, it'll transmit down there. I'm sure it'll put out really good power at the other one, at the 470.
Well, I know it's modified. Well, I shouldn't say modified. I know the trace is cut because I did it personally, because the old man, this is part of the package we picked up, and the old man said, yeah, that doesn't have 30 in it, 30 meter CW, so I have no interest in it. And I'm like, okay. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, cut. And that was the end of it. But I didn't know if it went down there. I never tried it.
Yeah, put it into a dummy load and put a watt meter in line with it. Not that the watt meter is going to be accurate, but go to like 470 kilohertz and give a whistle into the mic, and I'll bet you that thing puts out 5 or 10 watts there.
Okay.
Yeah, the way I was looking that up on this radio, Bruce. The way this radio works is that it's got a transverter output, and the transverter will output into those two bands.
Yeah, so do you have to translate the signal on the screen? Do you have to be like on another band? You know, and then it divides it down to the lower freak?
I don't know what you mean by that. No, because this radio goes right down to 30 kilohertz. So if I tune down to 470, the receiver is ready to go. You just need the transverter output into a transverter, and you're on the air.
Oh, okay. So it puts out the signal, but very weak. So you need an amp on it.
Yeah, it's either 1 milliwatt or 10 milliwatts, but it does put out. You have to configure the radio. You got to press the drive button and configure the radio for the band you want. But it will transverter. You know, you'll get transverter out on the 160 to 190 and the 470.
Wow. So you need some sort of amp.
That's it. You need an amplifier. One of those new super transistors there, they have like 28 dB a gain, so that ought to do a pretty good job. Yes, Dick, I do. You're not very strong, but I hear you.
Well, I changed it over to all 50 ohm coax now, feeding me about 55 meters or 50 ohms. So that's I did that today.
Well, your signal seems a little bit lower. You're usually about 10 over 9. You appear to be about an S9 now.
Oh well, okay. Oh well, yeah, drawing board. Okay, thanks, Ray.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you're about 10 dB lower, N1 DBL.
November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
Okay, I'm going to pack it in, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow, KT2D. Have a good night.
See you, Bob.
Yeah, see you, Bob. You're 20 over exactly on that transmission. Normally you're 10, so again, the antenna's working good. Just keep on working with that, and believe me, it'll just get better and better. Okay,
see you, Bob.
See you later, N1 DBL.
If we can get some improvement, so that's good. Thanks. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, he's strong to me. Crashes are pretty high, though, once in a while.
Yep, I agree. Lousy noise. Mark, did you get back to your radio yet? I'd like to know what he's doing down there. I think I know what he's doing.
He's praying.
To look at the lightning map, he's right in the middle of it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's disconnected.
Why, we got something coming?
Well, I don't know. Last night it was beautiful. It was super quiet. No lightning noise at all. Tonight it's really noisy.
There's a whole line of storms, thunderstorms from like Syracuse going southwest all the way down to the corner of Pennsylvania below Pittsburgh.
Well, that's not good for radio operators.
Not here, anyway.
No, not here either. I get them every now and again over here at maybe about 20 over.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey.
Is that you, Russ?
Yeah, what'd you do, Ray? Like bump into the front of your amp and put out like twice as much wattage, or what?
No, I'm just my new antenna. That's all.
Yeah, well, it's putting out about 10 dB more than last night, so you must have done something to it today.
No, didn't do anything. But I'm going to read this thing to you. I was going to read it to you and Randy, but Randy's useless. He's not around, so I'll read it to you.
Wow.
Now I'm going to show you how you're not doing things right. Okay, now just remember, you're not doing things right. Okay, now I'm going to read this right out of QST. Protecting antenna support rope from wildlife. Like many hams, I use trees as antenna supports. After 3 unexplained line rope failures, I discovered that squirrels had been chewing through the line where it passed over the tree limb. I solved this problem by using a 6-inch loop of small diameter stainless steel aircraft cable screwed to the tree holding a pulley. See, Russ, you're doing it all wrong.
What, I have 3/8-inch eye screws going into the tree and 11 inches of welded chain holding my pulley to the tree. How they gonna chew that down?
Oh, I just meant you kill the little pesky guys.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I put up good stuff so they don't gnaw it, but I mostly air them out and then the problem's gone.
Permanently. Sounds like this gentleman needs an intervention.
Yeah, there's if there's a heaven for animals, there's a busy God up there doing a lot of sorting.
If you had 260 squirrels all wrapped up in aluminum foil down in the freezer, that would be good for a rainy day.
I'd say that's a good start.
It is, Mark.
It's only 237.
What have you been playing with down there, Mark? Are you going blind?
One at a time, please.
Oh, my God.
I said, what have you been playing with down there? Are you going blind?
One at a time, please.
He's in a pile-up, Ray.
Everybody stand by except for Ray.
Who keeps on talking?
They're doing it on purpose, Ray, just to get your goat, so don't be a goat.
Don't be a goat, Ray. The sheep man, the herder, is here.
Got any lightning, Mark?
Not visible yet, but it's all up in my receive. I was busy popping in a ground rod for the beverage I'm using on this end.
At this time of night?
By flashlight.
There have been Bigfoot seen in Pennsylvania.
Oh my God! Here we go.
He's in rare form tonight, Mark.
Put away a criminal.
If he comes at you, just stab him with the ground rod.
There was a guy that was got away from the police. I think he broke out of jail. I'm not sure what the deal was, but anyway, he was running away from the police. He jumped my fence into my garden at night and was running across the garden. The police were chasing him, and he tripped on one of my radials for my antenna, and that's how they apprehended him.
Oh, you should have got a medal from the mayor.
That sounds like a garden story.
I didn't get anything from nobody. I didn't even get a thank you.
That sounds like a garden story.
You're lucky the bad guy didn't sue you.
That sounds like a garden story. It's kind of on the lines of a fish story.
It's real. It really happened.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Didn't get no medal. Didn't get no thanks. Didn't get no paperwork. Didn't get nothing.
Well, all I got to say is, Mark, you better not be complaining because I'm not on the QRP station tonight.
Oh, well, it's about time.
I was driving him nuts the other day, Ray. I had the Drake down on 160 with he goes, man, you need to turn the amp on. I said, I ain't turning the amp on. I'm not going to be here long enough.
Yeah, he wasn't on frequency either.
Of course not on a Drake. They drift all over. But does he look like he's QRP tonight compared to my signal?
Oh, he's bigger than you. In fact, just about everybody is.
Oh, God.
Ray.
I had to come in here tonight, Mark, because it's off the floor of me.
Ray, I told you what you need to make those cross dipoles work properly. And you simply don't listen when I'm telling you what you need to do.
I offered to go make him an antenna, and he refused.
No, he's got the antenna's fine. What he did was absolutely fine. The way he's feeding it is not fine.
I'll feed it with the quarter wave delay line, right?
That's right. You're not getting both antennas working together. You're getting it like a fan dipole, which may or may not help you out in any way, shape, or form. That's why your tuning's out of whack. That's why your pattern's out of whack. You got to put both dipoles. They have to be resonant, and they have to be out of phase properly so that they both radiate properly so that you can achieve what you're trying to achieve by using cross dipoles.
You know, I've never done that. We looked it up. John put that on that computer, and he said that whether you use the delay line or not really doesn't seem to make any difference. But if I can come up with a piece of coax that's long enough to do that, that'll be my next project.
85 feet between the feed and the other one, and just make sure they're, with the velocity, about all that jazz. So, yeah, just make that happen. I guarantee, just the same way that you guaranteed my antenna would perform better from stainless steel, I guarantee you're going to see an improvement in performance.
You get the LM 400 or 600.
I think I might have a piece long enough to do that. I'll check that out. That's got a higher velocity factor. It's going to have to be longer. I mean, I want to do it with one piece, I'll start looking at that. It's not that big of a... Believe me, Mark, the antenna works much better. It works much better than it did. But it doesn't work better in all directions. And that's where that other thing might come in handy, because like down towards Bruce, it works better. It works better up towards... It works better up towards... Steve up there in Vermont. It's a big improvement to Steve and Bruce, but in some directions it doesn't make any difference at all. Let me see, is K3, what's his name? I know his name, Tom. I can't think of his call. Tom, are you out here yet? That's 2 nights he hasn't been in there. He must be putting up a new antenna.
I think I pissed him off.
What'd you do?
No, Tom
just throwing it out there to
doesn't
cover
get mad
my butt.
at anybody.
Did you throw tacos at him?
No, tacos are only reserved for the extra special.
Yeah, KC3KXB, that's it. KC3KXB, N1 DVL.
Anyways, you guys are a hoot. N1 WCW at the bottom.
And if it really pissed me off, I put sour cream on them.
N1 DVL.
In 3 or more.
WG2E.
Here's the big guy.
KD1MW. I'm fading fast, guys. 7-3.
Have a good night, Bruce.
Make sure you put your cables in a glass jar.
Yeah, and you're nice and strong again. 40/9.
Yeah, with
okay,
water.
Good night. N1 DVL.
See you, Bruce. Say good night to the plants.
I wonder how much oxygen and hydrogen that would make if you got hit and the cable was in a jar.
It would make steam.
It would be gone as quick as you could key your radio.
You think it would be a big bang? Yeah, I think you're supposed to use an empty glass jar.
Tired too. I don't know why I'm tired, but I'm tired. I was tired all day today for some reason. I don't know. And then I got on the walker and I walked for about 15 minutes, and that seemed to perk me up. But anyway, I'm going to go to bed, watch some TV, take it easy. Maybe make myself a banana with some nice chocolate stuff on it. That's always good. See you later. N1 DVL.
Yep.
Catch you later, Ray.
Have a good night. Yeah, I was tired myself. I don't know why. I was so tired. I was driving home from Belchertown. I blew a stop sign. I didn't even see it. I came home, had something to eat, and went to bed. Took a little nappy because I never blow through stop signs.
Yeah, everybody was tired today. I mean, because I was with this Joan today, and she was tired too. Everybody felt tired. I don't know why. It must be that the HAARP thing beaming into New England tonight.
I knew it was coming.
There were some weird signals here on 160 about 7:30, 7 o'clock.
Raymond, you have a good evening. Don't forget to put your aluminum foil hat on.
You only do that in winter nights when it's cold, because if you've ever done that, it's so hot.
And by the way, I forgot. Oh, I called you. Your fuses are here.
Yeah, you told me.
Okay.
Yeah, next time we see each other, next time you go by, next time whatever. Do I have anything else for you here? I don't think so. I think you took everything. Okay. Was there anything else that you forgot to pick up?
The
Oh, no, the 890, I'm going to keep that. Anybody needs a 7600, though, I'll sell that now.
You know,
Okay,
I'm still
730, I'll see you
interested
later
in
on
that.
one DVL.
I'm still interested in that.
I know.
For the first price you gave me.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
Oh, boy. So what was happening? I didn't. There was so much confusion going on. Now that he's gone, and I might be able to hear it. You said something was going on 160 at around 7:30.
Tonight?
Yeah, I think it was Gary said that.
Well, if it was, I couldn't hear it anyway.
Well, there was a big signal hitting, and it was splattering all over for about 2 kilohertz.
No, as long as it's not me, I am all right. I thought that was Gary that had said that. Maybe I'm maybe I'm confused.
No, we were in there. I was talking to Carl. And Bob.
Yes.
And it was fairly early, and somebody was tuning up. And for maybe 20 kilohertz, every kilohertz there was a spike. It was like the dirtiest signal I'd seen in a long time. I mean, there were harmonics all over the place. But it went away, so I don't know what it was. Somebody must have been messing around with a messed up amplifier or something.
It was across the whole band.
Wow. I'm sorry, Carl. I called you Gary. I may be getting tired. My apologies. Yeah, no, I didn't hear it. I wasn't down here at that time, but it's interesting. Maybe one of them solid state guys.
Well, Bob and I, KT2D, were on, and all of a sudden this thing came tuning up, and I don't know where it was actually peaking, if it was near here on frequency, but every kilohertz there was a spike all the way down below, like to 1780 and up to like 2020.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't think anything could be that dirty.
Well, I never would have noticed that hadn't I had HDSDR running here where I was looking at the whole band.
Oh, boy. Fancy, huh?
Well, that's the nice thing about this 7610. It's got that IQ output on the USB cable, so you can look at like 2 megahertz of bandwidth.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I gotta find an HDMI cable so I can connect my 7300 to my TV.
To your TV? How does it hook to the TV?
It's got an HDMI output on the back of the 7300, and you can go right into one of your HDMI inputs on your TV.
Really? I never even thought it. I have the same radio, but I never even thought about trying to do that.
I mean, I do remember seeing that on the back of the unit and reading something in the manual about it.
It's just kind of a gee whiz thing, you know. If I had guests here in the shack, I'd put it up on the TV, but normally I don't use it.
There ain't no HDMI connection on the back. There's a USB connection.
Oh, okay, I'm on crack. Never mind.
Okay. I didn't think it did it. I've seen them do it with N1MHN or N1MNN or something. I don't know. Some program where you could pop it out, put it to the computer, and then have it display the scope and everything on the computer. But I didn't know anything about that. That's why I asked.
Well, you can rig control the thing. There's settings you got to do. You get an HDMI again, USB cable like you'd use for a printer or something, You connect the radio to your desktop or your laptop over USB, and then you got to do all the settings and everything. But you can use Ham Radio Deluxe. I use FL Digi, HRD to control the radio. It's you don't have to have one of those CIV boxes anymore.
Okay. Right, but do you see the whole screen? The whole screen from the radio? Do you see it right on your laptop?
No, it only passes rig control signals and audio in and out. So that you can't do you can't pull any video out of it. Like the screen that you're going to see would be whatever the rig control software was displaying.
Okay, all right.
Darn it! Here I thought I was going to be able to do that, and you're right, I'm not. I looked at the manual.
Put your pipe down. N1 WCW around 40.
I got an SD card input on the front left bottom, but I don't know anything about that either. N3 or more.
No, Mark, you would if you were going to upgrade the firmware on the radio, you would place it on an SD card and plug it into that slot. Also, you save your settings. You can back up all of your settings because sometimes when you do a firmware upgrade, it'll wipe your settings out. You got to start all over again. So that SD card's your best friend in that regard. And you can, depending on the size of the SD card, you can record like 400 or 500 hours of audio on it.
I put a 32 gig in there. I don't think I've ever used it.
Mark, what is your firmware on your 7300?
I have no idea even what you're talking about.
I got a 16 meg card in here and says it's good for 67 hours of audio.
Okay, Mark, you know how to find it?
I am a ham radio operator. I am not a computer whiz.
Okay, hit menu, hit set. Go to others. Then under others, there's a thing called information, and it'll tell you what the version is.
Okay, and of course it disappears when you key up the mic, so I'm going to have to write it down.
Yeah, whatever your main CPU version is. Like I'm at 1.3 right now.
All right, let me try it again and I'll tell you what version I'm on.
Too fancy.
Mine shows the version when you first turn the radio on and a splash screen comes up.
Yeah, it's 1.3.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to the latest version. I don't think they've come out with anything. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think so. I just bought it here like 2 weeks ago. Or maybe 3. Gotta be pretty recent. Anyway, I don't know if that new ground stake in the ground out there is helping, but anyway, at least now it's ground. Both beverages are now properly grounded with copper pipe into the ground on their shields.
Well, I'm going up topside, so you all have a good evening. We'll catch you over the weekend. November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey.
Have a great evening.
See you, Dennis. Yeah, the Google says 1.30 is the latest.
Now, if I have to get an upgrade, will it send me a card, or you can do it online? I'd have to do it online then and use the card to slide it in there and then download and all that jazz, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did here for the 7610. You just downloaded the file and put it on the card. And as long as it's in the right place and the file name is correct, you're good to go.
I don't have a laptop or regular computer. I just use my phone. So I guess I'm going to eventually have to get, like, a real computer. Or They'll send an app that you can download it from your phone through a special little giggy on the bottom of the phone to the SD card in the front of the radio, and you can do it that way. Wouldn't that be convenient?
Anybody hear me?
I hear you, Dick. You're pretty light.
Yeah, well, I got 50 ohm coax from the antenna to the radio now, about 55 feet. I got a clicking report from Ray, was about an S9, and it used to be 10 over, so I don't know what the heck it is.
I only got about half of that. You're right even with the lightning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the lightning, we don't have that over here. Not yet, anyway. All right. Oh, it's pretty light. Coax in there now, instead of the RG6.
Anybody here, Dick?
I do, but in between the lightning, it's so rough that I'd have to try to piece it together.
Yeah, you better try it when it's a little quieter, Dick. WG2E.
Okay. Yeah, when there's no storms around, we'll try it again.
Yeah, he said when there's no storms that are around, we'll try it again. Yeah, we're hearing you, Dick, but it's just really, yeah, it's not conducive to a conversation. It's really tough.
Okay, thanks so much.
You are being heard. N3 or more. All right, I'll be listening, but I'm going to be busy in another room for a little while. N3 or more.
Yeah, I think I'm going to head upstairs, too. I'm going to disconnect things. It looks like maybe the lightning might be here in a couple hours. Maybe a little less for you, Mark. WG2E, 7-3 all.
Hey, Carl. I have a good one. I can hear the crashes, but I don't think I got anything heading this way, luckily.
Well, there's a line from like Syracuse down towards Pittsburgh, and it's just moving due east is what I can see.
93 KXP.